So here's the way it works. If you're playing, the most common thing you'll see is on the 4 chord. So if I'm an A, 4 chords D, right? The diminished chord, instead of being a D7, you're going to move up a fret. That's the flatted 9, right? The sharp 1 is the same as flat 9. Are you cool with that? So there's your diminished chord. That's the same thing as doing, instead of doing your D like this, you can do the 9th chord, right? Get rid of the root and put it on the flat 9. That turns it into a diminished that you can move up. The other way that you'll see that is like, see the D7 here? Get rid of the bottom 2 strings and do a flat 9, which is a sharp 1 again. So there again, you get the same. So those are all the ways that I usually think of seeing the diminished chord. I'm here, I sharpen it, or I'm here and I do the middle thing, or I'm here and I do the top part of it. Do all those make sense?
Yeah.
Those are all the same chord. So whenever you're playing the 7th chord and you want to do the diminished version, you go a fret higher. Like instead of a D7 chord, a D7 flat 9 is the same as a D sharp diminished. Is that cool?
Right.
An A7 flat 9 is the same as an A sharp diminished or a B flat diminished. Cool?
Hey Nick, on your side, you have something that gives me record permission? Because I can actually record what we do.
Yeah, no, I'm recording it right now. It's going onto the phone.
Are you okay?
Cool? So, like an E7, like if I'm on the 5 chord, that would turn into an F diminished. And look, here's the E7 chord. If I get rid of that root and put my middle finger down here on the flat 9, that's an F. It's an F diminished. Remember, any of the notes in diminished chord can be called the root note, right? Because they're, as you move it around, they're all notes. So F is same, F diminished, same as B diminished, same as D diminished, same as G sharp diminished, and so on. Is that cool? So again, if I did it on here, here's an E7, I'd hold that and turn it into an F diminished. If I was doing it down here, I'd get that E9, move my middle finger down, that's another F diminished. Or if I was doing E here, I'd add my middle finger and that would be an F diminished. Cool? Now the way that we played that, so say we're doing a D. That's the same as a D diminished. A D7 with a flatted 9th is the same thing as a D sharp diminished. So put your pinky on D, and here's that arpeggio. It's just, in this case, D sharp is on 11, so 11, 8 on the first string, and then 10 on the second string, and then you do it again. And if you want to keep going, because of the tuning there, it goes down a fret. Oops. Cool? So I'm doing 10, 8, or I'm sorry, 11 and 8, 10, 11, 8, and then 10, and then 12, 9, and 11, down a fret. Cool? So that's just the arpeggio. And the sweep thing that I was doing was the top 3 strings of that. Move that down a little. Cool? Now the way the scale works is like, say I'm here, and I've been down 3 frets. What you do is you take that arpeggio, right, and all those notes that are there, we're running out of time here. So what you do is you go a fret down below every note. So I have this 8, this 5, this 7, this 8, this 5, this 7. So I'm going to do 8 and 7 next to it. I'm going to do the 5 and the 4 next to it. I'm going to do the 7 and the 6 next to it. So every one of those arpeggio notes, you go down a fret from where the arpeggio is. So if I have 8, 5, and 7, I'm going to do 8 and 7, 5 and 4, 7 and 6. Taking every one of those 8, 5s, and 7s and going down a fret below. Get the idea?
Yeah.
So
It helps a lot.
you could think about just sliding. Make sense?
Yeah.
No. There it is. Cool. Make sense?
Yeah, it's got a cool sound too.
So if I'm doing it in the blues here. When I get that 4 chord, here's that 1. Here's the 4. So I just did it on the 4 chord and the 5 chord. The classic places to do it, you do the blues. You do that 1, And when you go to 4, you do it here. Cool? Makes sense?
Yep.
And for that, for any of that D7, you play a little D7. And it doesn't sound weird at all. It's just like a neat, colorful thing. Cool. It just sounds really great, especially on the 4 chord. Neat, right? Uh-oh, are you there? I think I lost you. I'm going to stop here from here.